If you owe the bank $100,000, you have a problem. You lose sleep. You cut coupons. You panic. But if you owe the bank $38 trillion, that is no longer your problem. That is the bank's problem. As of late 2025, the United States national debt has officially crossed $38 trillion. It is a number so big it sounds fake. It is larger than the economies of China, Japan, Germany, and India combined. Any other country with this balance sheet would have collapsed by now. Their currency would be dust. Their government would be dissolved. And yet, the American supermarket is full, the lights are on, and the stock market is mostly fine. How? How is this possible? Today, we are going to look at the economic cheat codes that keep America alive, why the kitchen table analogy is a lie, and the one terrifying thing that could actually make this house of cards fall. Let's just respect the size of this number for a second. 38 trillion. If you stacked $38 trillion bills on top of each other, the stack wouldn't just reach the moon. It would reach the moon and back. ... 5,000 times. Every year, the US government spends more than it makes. This is called the deficit. To fill that gap, they borrow money by selling treasury bonds. Basically, pieces of paper that say, I owe you. For decades, politicians have told you that this is like a household budget. They say, a family can't spend more than they earn forever, and neither can the government. That is the first lie. You and the currency users. We have to earn dollars before we spend them. The United States government is a currency. They can technically create the money to pay the bill. But if they can just print money, why borrow it? And why is the debt a problem? The problem isn't paying it back. The problem is the interest. Right now, America is spending over $1 trillion a year just on interest. That's more than the entire military budget. We are borrowing money just to pay the interest on the money we borrowed last year. In the corporate world, this is what we call a zombie company. So why hasn't the US been liquidated yet? This is the secret sauce. The reason America survives is because of something called global reserve currency status. Imagine you go to a store, but they don't accept your credit card. They only accept, let's say, Chuck E. Cheese tokens. If you want to eat, you have to buy those tokens. In the global economy, the US dollar is that token. If Brazil wants to buy oil from Saudi Arabia, they don't pay in Brazilian reals. They don't pay in Saudi reals. They usually pay in US dollars. This means every country on earth needs dollars. And because they have billions of dollars sitting around, they need a safe place to put them. So, they buy US debt, those treasury bonds. This creates a permanent demand for American debt. We can print reckless amounts of money, and the world absorbs it. Because they have no choice. It's an economic superpower called exorbitant privilege. If Turkey or Argentina tried to run a deficit like this, their currency would collapse overnight. But because the world runs on dollars, America gets an unlimited credit card. But, wait, everyone knows the US economy is messy right now. Why do investors still trust us? It's called the cleanest shirt in the dirty laundry theory. Global investors look around. Europe, aging population and slow growth. China, a massive real estate crisis and strict capital controls. Emerging markets. Too risky. So, even though the US has $38 trillion in debt, it is still viewed as the safest place to park money. It's not that America's financially healthy. It's just that everyone else is sicker. This demand keeps our interest rates from exploding. If the world stopped trusting us, they would stop buying our debt. Interest rates would skyrocket to 20% or 30%, and the US economy would instantly fly. But as long as we are the cleanest shirt, the game continues. So, does this mean the debt doesn't matter? Can we just print money forever? No. There is no such thing as a free lunch. The government might not send you a bill for the national debt, but you are paying it. You pay it every time you go to the grocery store. When the government prints money to buy its own debt, it dilutes the value of the dollars in your savings account. Inflation is just a hidden tax. It is the government transferring wealth from you the saver. To them, the debtor. They are inflating away the debt. If they owe $38 trillion, but they make the dollar worth less, the debt becomes easier to pay off. The victim is your purchasing power. So, will the U.S. default? Probably not. Will the system collapse tomorrow? Unlikely. But the $38 trillion number tells us one thing. The era of easy money is over. We are now in a race between economic growth and interest payments. The system survives on faith. Faith that the dollar is valuable. Faith that the U.S. government is stable. As long as that faith holds, the music keeps playing. But if the music stops, well, make sure you have a chair. I want to know what you think. Is this a bubble waiting to burst, or just the new normal? Let's have a real, respectful discussion down below. Thank you for watching, and for being willing to look into the dark. Take care of yourselves.